And there's your key.
Me. Hello, everybody. This is Ragin with. We've got an early episode. Yeah, I had to crawl out of bed for this, but I would do that for Rich PEROTTA. This is Ragin with episode 22.
Ragin.
All right, here we are. Welcome to Ragin with. We've got Rich PEROTTA, who is getting ready to launch his campaign, The Incantesi, Chapter 2. He hails from, what is that, England?
Yeah.
Where are you, my friend?
Nottingham specifically.
Nottingham. Pinkies up,
Nottingham.
everybody. Pinkies up. But he's
Pick it up with the large cup of tea here, with him in Nottingham here.
So while Nita and I don't know how to go to bed before like 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, sometimes 6,
Yes.
and like crawling out of bed, and we're like, wait, we gotta think with Rich in a couple of hours. We'll see you then. Yeah, so we were basically crawling out, and then Nita's got a like surprise thunderstorm in her area. So if she disappears, then we know why. But that's okay. I can have Rich all to myself. Rich, tell us about the Incantesi.
The Incantesi is the comic book that I have created. It is written and drawn and colored and lettered by me. And it is a story based in Milan, Italy, whereas the Incantesi are a group of sorcerers who vow to protect humanity, even though they strike back against them, because right around the time the Incantesi were formed, this was during all the witch trials and the hunting and all that other stuff. Well, a few Incantesi decided to strike back, and very quickly, the majority of the Incantesi, as a matter of fact, all but 5 of them that were left, decided to branch off from the Incantesi and form the Wrath, a malevolent force dedicated specifically to eradicate most of humanity and slave the rest. So the remaining 5 Incantesi managed to capture all of them and place them into an extra-dimensional prison, which the spell wasn't the best constructed spell. It was done by haste, and that spell has to be fortified every so often. And it can only be done by the one person who was born to be an Incantesi every generation or so. So that has to happen. So fast forward about 250 years to now, where we have a young lady named Cassandra Rossi, who is a ballet dancer in Milan, and turns out happens to be the last remaining Incantesi, but she does not know it yet until a couple of nights ago, when she was attacked by a being that was possessed by the Wrath. They tried to kill her and tried to kill everyone that she loved, where she discovered at the last moment all of her power and nearly blew up the hospital that she was being attacked in. So now the story is that they escape. They're back at her Aunt Amelia's home. Amelia's her mentor and supposed to be the original Incantesi, but there's a reason why she is not. And the story will unfold from there. We get to learn a little bit more about who the Incantesi are, especially it's going to be illustrated too, because I'm including with the original 48-page story for Chapter 2, a 5-page prologue and epilogue showing within the prologue and the epilogue of this issue, issue 3 and issue 4, how the remaining Incantesi actually subdue and imprison the Wrath. So we're going to have 60 pages of content for every single issue here, and I'm going out until issue 4. The final conclusion, where everything ties together in one shot.
Yeah. Now, okay. So now
I
we've
can
been watching you on Facebook because you have been doing your live streams about an hour every single day, at
Mhm.
least an hour every day, I believe.
Some go a little less, some go a lot more.
Now, so what is the motivation behind doing that every single day? Because we were
Well, there's
kind of talking
two.
about this before we went live.
Okay. Well, there's two of them. One of them is to excuse me, to bring more awareness to my graphic novel to begin with. Just excuse me again, just on a whole, and you know, slowly but surely, my following has grown as a result. The members of my YouTube channel have hit 140 already, which is okay. You know,
Nice.
I mean, well, I could use I could use a public relations person to help get the word out there because it's only me again. But
Yeah.
I do that every day. But I also do that because what I'm trying to do, because I have so much work that I've already imbued myself with, I've taken that opportunity of going live and drawing pages for issue 3. Even though all the art is done for all the line art is done for issue 2, and the only thing I have to do now is the coloring and the lettering on it, and then make sure it's formatted and sent it to print. But during that time, um, anybody who views the show gets to see a slight sneak peek into what art is going to go into chapter 3, what the story is going to be, what it may or may not be. And I think it's a nice little personal touch where it's like you're going to see the pages constructed in real time and how it's actually done. And thankfully, there are some people who ask me questions.
Mhm.
So that's a benefit from it, really, if you think about it. That it's like the people are asking, "How are you doing this? Why are you doing this? You know, oh my God, you're crazy. Don't you ever
Well,
sleep?" Yeah, I do.
that's it exactly. You see, like I get a notification. It's like there's Rich again. I'm like, what? It's like first of all, you s- it's like when do you sleep? And then you're sharing all of this work again, and it was like, the hell are you doing? But that makes sense because now you're in the consciousness. You're there every day, and not only
Mhm.
that, you're being accountable to yourself.
Yeah,
You're
absolutely.
setting the clock and saying, okay, I've got an hour to do this. This is when I'm going to draw. I'm sharing it. And so by doing that and creating that habit and having other people come in and view and watch and stuff, and now they're along the journey, and it's
Mhm.
almost like, okay, now even if you don't feel good, even if you're having a day, you're like, no, 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 they're expecting me to show up, right?
Yeah, I've had a
that's
couple of
that's a
those. Yeah,
huge motivation.
yeah, I've had a couple of those where I just didn't want to do it, but I did.
Yeah.
Had to. You know, I mean, even if I did, I mean, I greatly reduced the amount of interaction I had, and I was just okay. I'm going to do this page, you know. But it all, a lot of times, something like that could be a little bit. It sounds a little bit insurmountable at times, but if you do a little bit every single day, eventually it gets done. You know, I
Hmm.
mean, there's times when it's like I have different parts. Like I'll do incantesi, this, that, and the other, part 1 or part 2, or I know I'm going to take at least about 3-4 hours to finish this page. So, you know, I do one chapter, part 1, 2, and 3. You know, it's just a matter of how much I'm going to do.
Right.
But yeah, I want to do that every single day. And the select pages that I have that I'm going to draw, um, everyone gets certain snippets of the pages and they get a snippet of the story, but it doesn't reveal too much because I'm not talking about what's going on these particular pages. I mean, I've shown the plot to both of you for issue 3, and I'm not going to draw the pages that live anyway. I'm not going to draw the ones live that are going to be ridiculously important. I mean, the double page spread that I'm going to do is the aftermath, but it's just a really cool way of me destroying a lot of stuff that's destroyed. I mean, I'm really excited to destroy a couple of streets in Milan today. It's going to be nice, you know. So yeah, and I'm and the best part about it too is that, you know, continuously drawing that book over and over and over again every day, I've become very comfortable with drawing this character. I mean, Cassandra, the character of Cassandra Rossi, aka the Incantessi, is the best thing that I've ever created in my life. The
Hmm.
best thing I've ever created because it's made me search within myself and stretch my imagination and test my storytelling skills because I don't know. I'm not going to say that a lot of books that are in the indie market or any like juvenile or whatnot, but a lot of them, there's a lot of characters there that are just like uber powerful, omnipotent. They could beat Batman, Superman, blah blah blah. And it's like, well, that's great and all, but I'm almost certain that character, that whatever character it is a version of the artist or the writer's persona or persona that they wish to be. And it's true for me too, because I had a character that was sort of based on me from since I was in high school. And when I decided I was going to self-publish, I was like, can I use my character? No, because if I do, I will be called the biggest narcissist on the friggin' planet, and that'll be the end of it. I will be laughed out of the comic store. And I'm like, you know what? That's it. I have to do something different, because if I don't, it's just going to be, it's just going to be a power fantasy of mine after a while. It's going to just be stupid.
Well,
So,
you know what?
I'm sorry.
Just to kind of cut in there a little bit. Not everybody, and I'm going to get hate mail for this. I know it. Not everybody loves superheroes.
That's true too.
Yeah,
she's not a hero.
Right.
Cassandra's not a hero.
And so and I'm not even going to say that the market is flooded with superheroes. There's a place for them. There's a market for them. But for me as a reader, I love the storytelling aspect. I love that you have a story arc in the first book. I've got that behind me. But then it carries over and chapter by chapter. And you said you're going up to 4 chapters here. So this is something for me to look very much forward to, because the storytelling is compelling as well as the art. So again, I might get some hate mail, because
no, send me the hate mail. I can't stand superheroes. They're boring and lame and repetitive. And you can come to me and be like, "Oh, look, this is so original and so different." No, bro, no, it's not. I'll take your hate mail. I like anti-heroes and I like the dark stories.
Yeah.
That's what I love. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I just want to give a little bit of love to. We've got Comic Talk with Pops Van Zandt, who has he's got CromCon this weekend. Mike Jimmy is tuning in. He has got an active campaign as well.
Yes, he
Life
does.
on Cora 4. Mar V is in the studio as well, and we've got Doris Jones. Hello.
Hi, Doris.
We are very happy to have you. We've got Creators Outlet here. Well, welcome. Hate mail en route, he says.
Send it, Will.
Yeah,
but I do understand there is a market for it, and there are people that thoroughly enjoy them still. I'm just like,
Yeah, me too. I'm sorry. I don't begrudge anybody creating any content like that.
No.
I don't begrudge anybody doing any superhero stuff. But to me, it's like, yay. Superheroes are a lot more than just black and white or good or evil. And it's like, I've always wanted to have a character that was just a little bit less vacuous and a little bit more complex, and not altogether good, because Cassandra is not Steve Rogers. She's not. The plain is simple. She's not Steve Rogers. She's not, she's not Mother Teresa. She's none of those things. She's Cassandra Rossi, a kid whose parents died when she was 6, and she will find out something horrible regarding how her parents died as the story goes along, and that will really set her at that moment. She'll have to make a decision on who she's going to be depending on the news that she gets, and every single person in the world reacts according to their gifts or according to their life. It's nature versus nurture. I have an idea of where she's going to go, but given the events that's going to happen in issue 3, it's not going to be great. So we're going to see what happens. It could be something entirely different, but she's not going to be pure of heart. Not really, no. And being that she's come across this incredible power, it's not like she knows how to use it immediately. She's been studying a little bit on the sly, but she doesn't have this great knowledge. It's like one day she's a ballet dancer in a theater in Milan, Next day, she can be God if she chooses to access all that power, but you don't dare access all that power, nor do you understand all that power. You can't possibly, with a fragile human mind, you can't process how far it is to the nearest star, because you can look up in the sky and it looks like you could reach out and touch it, but it's 4 light years away. It's pretty far. That's a few trillion miles. It's not like next door. No, we think we can grasp it. What we as humans cannot, and that's what she has to deal with. How is she going to grasp this, and can she?
Well, and that's the brilliance of really good storytelling, is that
Thank you. Wow,
it
thank you.
connects to us on an emotional level, and there is just enough, because I read chapter 1. I've got it right there.
Mhm.
See, anybody who's tuning in, I've got it right there. Because we want to believe that there's a little bit of magic in the world still, right?
Yeah.
And we want to believe that we have those powers in us sometimes. And then, how many times have we even thought about it? It's like, what could we do if that happened to me? Like, would I be good or would I be evil? I would probably be a little bit of both.
I would be chaotic neutral.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not going to lie about this. I would probably eventually become evil, because there would be things that I would do that would become so easy for me over time. Like over time, I would learn how to conjure up different types of spells that could be involved in any type of subterfuge or disguise or anything along those lines,
Right.
or instant teleportation. And if I really if I have the world at my feet, if I'm not guided in the right way, or if I don't have people or that I love or trust to make sure that I don't go awry, there will be a point where it's like I'll use it for a nefarious purpose. And once I do that, there's no
it'll be
going
like
back.
Easy.
There's no
I
going.
have to have a redemption story. Fuck.
I can have a redemption story, yeah. But I would still commit all the shit that I shouldn't be doing.
Right.
I wouldn't be a light beacon of hope and happy and joy. I'm going to make sure no one ever sees the sun again. There you go. I don't care if it's 100 degrees. You're not going to get a tan.
And there's so many dark souls who are tuning in right now. They're all like, evil.
I know, right?
Yes,
Like,
we
oh
would be
yeah,
evil.
holy.
We're running with
They're like,
crowd.
finally someone speaks my language. My
don't
blood
know.
is black as oozy as oil. It oozes out and it has flame in it.
I'm going to be the goody two shoes and say I'll probably do my best to be. I would probably just be like, what would it be like?
Here.
What would it be like to have money in the in the bank? It's like, I'll rob one, but yeah. But that I don't know.
With whatever, there's about 1,000 different types of incantations that you can just take money out of that bank without it ever being noticed.
Right.
There
Yeah.
you go. Look, I got all this money.
I don't know. Geez, I'd like to say that I would be good, but I would probably be very, very bad too.
Yeah, think about it. It's like all you have to do is like snap your fingers and you have like a $500 million in front of you. But in your mind, it's like, is this bad? But then you realize, like, you know what? It doesn't matter if you steal all this money, because most banks are insured. The people who have those accounts are not going to lose a dime, so it doesn't matter. Or it's like, oh wait, all that gold is gone. Who cares? There's probably some sort of deposit somewhere in South America. Who gives a shit? And it's like, oh, a few hundred people died. Well, a few hundred people were born just about 10 seconds ago.
Oh my God!
It's up after a while.
Justify that, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Very interesting.
Very lovely, very even. Everything.
It's like, I love your dark. Yeah. Doris says bank robbery is my dream crime. Yeah. I don't know. See, I think it depends on our motivation too, because my motivation is good food. My motivation is, it isn't my like dream to have $1 million in the bank, and I know people who are like, I have to have $1 million in the bank, or I'm a failure, right? And for me, it's just like, no, man, I want a good meal every day,
Right. And I don't want to have to cook it.
right?
You would be able to conjure up demons who would possess Gordon Elliott or whoever. No, not Gordon Elliott, Gordon Ramsay. You can conjure up demons who would possess the body of Gordon Ramsay. He would take his Learjet, and you can make him say really, really nice things about your cooking and record it on social media.
And Mike Jimmy saying self-justification is serious, though. Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Mhm.
But his
But
next
that's
comment,
the
I mean,
thing.
there were only 10 people in a bus full of children, right?
Oh my God, so bad.
We are
So
hanging with some
dark,
bad
so dark. We are
people.
all going to hell.
Oh man, the things I've thought of. Yeah, I'm definitely going to hell.
Yeah, Doris is
Absolutely.
saying for real, to rob a bank being the dream. I need Bodai and Keanu to go rob a bank with dead president masks. That would be awesome.
Oh my God.
And for our
Yeah,
minders tuning in, we are talking about fiction.
yes, we're talking
Fiction.
about fiction. Yeah, we are.
It's fiction.
I thought
Don't
this
tell me there are people.
No,
Don't
for-
tell me
for
there
our-
are people actually believe that.
For our government minders who are tuning in right now, and here's
Come
the other
at me,
thing.
Charlie.
I don't know your names yet. No, but that's the other thing. Like when we're researching things like that, Rich, I don't know how much research that you put into this. All right, because I know that it's come out of your brain. But I would probably be a little bit insulted if I wasn't on some kind of a soft watch list for my Google searches.
Soft.
Oh, why would I?
Amateur
Why would I?
hour.
Why would
That's
I?
why.
Why would I
That's
ever?
why every once in a while, here's the funny thing: Nita confuses. What is it? It's not Siri. Is it
Alexa.
Alexa? Nita will throw out she'll just sit there, and you would think, all right, you would think that it was Tourette's because she says like the craziest thing, and she's yelling at Alexa, and I'm like, what are you doing? And I've seen it. I've been in the room where Alexa will be like,
And just stop talking.
and stop talking.
Like, Alexa, what happens if you throw puppies in blenders?
They die.
She's going off. I got the door shut. You can't hear because of the foam. But yeah, she's like, she had an answer for that one.
Oh, yeah, but every once in a while she does, and that's what I mean. It's like you have to, you confuse them and you tell them it's like, yeah, I'm doing research today because I'm writing a thing,
Yeah.
and hopefully you don't have a dead body in the freezer when they raid.
Yeah, that's true.
So
Yeah. So go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was going to say, with getting back to the Incantessi Chapter 2, I'm going to pull this up because you are launching this afternoon on the Madness.
Yes,
So
I
we're
am.
going to throw a little bit of love over there to CromCon.
Yes,
The Incantessi
CromCon
Chapter
gets love.
2. You've got, let me see, 113 followers right now. I'm going to tell you guys, make sure if you are watching on the YouTube channel, in the show notes, we do have the link to the Kickstarter project. Make sure that you go over there and hit that button, notify me on launch, because the 1 day sales are so important, especially on a Kickstarter. It gives you that really good boost to help propel you forward for the next, how long is your campaign, Rich?
Campaign is 28 days.
28 days. Yeah. So, and it helps just give that little bit of a buffer for people because there's always that slow period in the middle of a campaign, which is really, really hard. So make sure that you guys get over there, hit the notify me on launch. If you cannot support it, and with Kickstarter, it will, like, you're pledging, all right? And it will not scoop the money until the end of the campaign. So make sure that you budget. But if you can't afford it right now, make sure that you share it out with your friends and your network, because that is how this will grow. This is how we get beyond, our inner circle, our friends and family, and then even the people that we're reaching, because as you're tuning into Ragin and stuff like that, our outreach is only so much, and then it's you who's tuning in. When you hit that share button, it propels it forward. So we really appreciate it. We are on Twitch as well.
Yay.
Ragin AVC does not have a Twitch channel. This was going directly through mine, but we might have to switch that up a bit.
Okay.
We
I have a
may.
new trailer for the Incantessi Chapter 2, and I wanted to release it with you guys.
I know.
Nice.
What the heck happened, Rich? Do you have it on YouTube?
I can put it on YouTube. If you give me a minute, I can upload it onto my channel. You just give me a moment, I
Marvy
can
is
upload it.
dark. He says, I'd rather eat humans. I don't eat cute animals.
I want cute animals.
I'm telling you, if there was an apocalypse and there, or like a zombie apocalypse and stuff, I only have to run faster than the slowest person.
Wow, Meredith.
That is true. But what if you're the second slowest person?
If I'm the second slowest person, I don't know. I'm going to have to take somebody out at the knees. I will totally Tanya Harding you.
Oh my God.
Yeah, wow.
That's
You're
dark,
totally
right?
Tanya
Yeah,
Harding me. That is
I would totally
dark.
be evil. I would. Nita, I think that's been confirmed.
God. You are terrible.
It's been
Holy
confirmed.
God.
Meredith could totally be evil.
Oh my
And
God.
Marvy says he's having Italian tonight. And cheers, Mike
So-
Jimmy. Yes, cheers to. I'm a survivor, man.
Oh my God.
As Rich tries to find, or are you trying to upload?
Yeah, I'm trying to upload. How do I do that? God, I'm so terrible.
Will says he would trip me too. It's like race is on, dude.
That's messed up. That's really messed up. Oh my God.
Uh,
Oh,
and we've got a lot of people who are tuning in. Creators
Hello,
here.
everybody who's tuning in.
Ninja Jenko is here.
Ninja Jenko, yeah, Ninja Jenko shows up on a lot of my live shows. And that's really cool. Thank you. Oh wait, I found the upload thing. Upload video. Okay, yay. I'm gonna put it on the richness channel.
The richness.
So, yes, the richness. Yeah.
So
God,
now you said that you are doing chapter 3 work.
Yes, I am.
That is really exciting. Now from chapter 1, from the birth of the Incantessi to kind of where you are now, illustrating every single day.
Illustrating every single day.
Do you find that, I mean, I would think by default you're getting better and you're getting faster?
I'm becoming more comfortable with well, you know what it is? I guess you could say I'm getting faster, quote unquote, because I'm so much more comfortable drawing the characters the first time out, because I wanted to, the first issue took so long. The first issue took me about 5 months just to draw it out. And I wanted to be sure that I got the look of the characters correct. And I also wanted to fall into my style a little bit more instead of have to be so continuously, reserved on it. And over time, it worked beautifully. And I got faster with every issue that I worked on, with everything that I've worked on so far. And, I was a pro for the longest time before that. I mean, I started at Marvel in 1994, and I worked for them for a decade. And it's just, let's see, wait, is that the one? Yes, okay. Sorry, I'm uploading it onto my YouTube channel, so it's going up there. But what's going on is that I'm just getting more comfortable drawing in general. I'm in a roundabout way learning more about them, as I go, because it's like as I continue. What is this? Yes, it's made for kids. Yes, sorry about that. Next, the elements just next, whatever. Okay, close, checks. All right, next, okay, save, public. There's a lot of things you got to do here. Okay.
Mhm.
Publish. So stupid.
So,
1 second.
so with this, do you find now, because of the repetition, the speed, do you find that you are trying to add more detail than you never had before? I mean, what is that like? Because I know
Well,
with practice we get better, right? And
well, yeah.
the lines
all the
might
time.
be getting smoother and things like that. And now the struggle would then become keeping the consistency through the series.
Well, it's not. I mean, it's not a struggle. Not on my end. It's not a struggle at all because I've done it so damn much. It's
Mhm.
like I already know. I already have an idea of where the settings are. It's not an expansive universe where I go all over the planet and everything, and I have to research everything that I have to draw. It just is what it is, and it's it's not so much. It's not so much that I'm. I mean, I already put in a lot of detail already, and I'm just loving the characters more and more, and I'm putting more into it every time. And you can see in all my go lives how I progressed one way or another, and how much better I've gotten. To be honest with you,
Mhm.
as a result of it. Oh, I got a message from someone. That
That would be
all right?
me.
I got something from you. So let me see that. Let
Send
me
me
know
that
when you
link,
have
Rich.
the link to
Send
the
me the
trailer.
link.
Give me a second. God, women.
Because we've only got you for what, maybe another 15-20 minutes.
You can have
But
me
you
for
know
another
what,
15
while
minutes.
you're looking for that, I'm just going to put up our little bump here. We got
Yes.
a
Go ahead.
couple of them. All right. So you guys, if you are tuning in and you've got comic books or books that you need to ship out, you want to protect them with a Gemini mailer, and you can do that and save money by using a coupon code VOLT10.
Ta-da.
And that is for a 10% discount on your Gemini mailers. Go to GeminiComicsSupply.com. Use coupon code VOLT10. Thank you to IndieVolt. And by the way, we are simulcasting to IndieVolt Radio, as well as Comics and More New Jersey, Geek Insider, and of course, RAGIN AVC. And if you're tuning in at RAGIN AVC, make sure that you hit the subscribe button and hit the notifications bell so you know exactly when we go live, because sometimes we don't know ourselves. So yeah, there's that. But yeah, for a 10% discount on your Gemini mailers, coupon code VOLT10. Hey, save money where you can, right?
Save money when you can.
Yes, and while Rich is, I think he's still
I,
pulling up that video or sending it
I
to me.
just sent you the link.
Cool. We've
sent you the
also
link
got
so you can
Little
find it.
Bastard Promos. What? Little
Woo!
Bastard Promos is a public
Yeah.
group on Facebook, and we are inviting people who are independent content creators, whether you're a comic books, a writer, a movie maker, a musician, whatever it is that you do, come over to Little Bastard Promos and share your shit. There you
Yeah.
go. I said it.
There you go.
Let me find that link. There it is.
It's in your Facebook chat thingy. Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah. Go get them. Put it
All
up
right.
there.
Let me get this set up here a little bit before I share that out. All right.
I think I have enough of this. I'm gonna need some more tonight. That's for sure.
I'm sure. So 6 p.m. Eastern over on CromCon, and he is streaming to the group as well as his YouTube channel. And we'll be dropping links in the socials so that people know where to tune in. And that is a 2-day. Well, no, did he do a pre-launch yesterday? I think
I
Pops
didn't
did.
do it.
Yeah, it's a week. It's a weekend long thing.
Yeah.
And so let's see who lost sound. Can you guys still hear me?
I hear
I
you.
can. Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. Joe D. McPhee is tuning in. He says you lost sound. Oh no, that would be bad.
That is bad.
Or good. I don't know.
No one
Could
wants
be
to hear
good.
me. I'm just. I just
Let me find this. All right, I got to stop the screen share there and share the screen. Make sure I hit the video, share audio. There we go. All right, you guys ready for this?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, let me put that up on the screen. Oh boy, oh boy. And here we go. This is the definitive trailer, Chapter 2 for the Incantessi.
I can't hear the volume of the music. That could be the reason why.
Well done.
Very awesome. Very
Really?
awesome. Yeah.
Wow,
Well
thanks.
done.
Thank you.
Well done.
Yay.
Now, normally I watch a trailer twice, right? Once with my eyes open and once with my eyes closed, because there are a lot of times that people will tune in. And so anybody who is maybe listening to a podcast, they're like, well, that's nice music, but what is it? But I don't know that I would do a voiceover
No,
on that
I
one.
don't either. That's crazy.
No.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a big fan of the voiceovers, to be honest with you. I mean, because it would be me doing the voice unless I hire someone else to do it. I mean, it would be me doing the voiceover, and
Hey, Rich,
I tend to.
I have a really good mic. Just
Okay.
saying, you know.
I
And
have
there are
a
other
really
people.
good mic.
There are
And
other
she's got
people,
sexy voices too.
and there are other people who
I don't have
do
a
this,
sexy voice.
who would be like, "Yeah, I'd like to try, a crack at that as far as voiceovers and stuff." Just saying. But we've got people who are saying, "Morning all, morning Rich. Hope Juju and
Well,
Meredith Jr. had the right refreshment in the green room for you." And
yeah.
Marby says that was a great trailer, simple and
Thank you. Wow.
exciting. Just there are people. Again, it's one of those things with a video. This one in particular, I think it's fine without the voiceover, but just to kind of put it out there, there are people who listen only on a podcast, so they will never see the visuals. They will never see that pop and how you synchronized it to the music, which was awesome. That's
Yeah.
something that I look for. But when when I'm watching with my eyes closed, I'm like, what is it? Just something to keep in mind.
Food for thought.
I will.
Food for thought. But you know what?
will.
What's
Thank
neat is on a campaign, you can always add other videos.
I will.
You can add things like your YouTube stream, because on the richness, speaking of which, you have your videos, your live streams where you're showing the progress of your art. So anybody who wants a sneak peek can head over to the richness, and you will see Rich's logo there, and subscribe to his channel.
It's so hammy. I swear. I love. I don't know where I came up with the richness. God, what's wrong with me?
Oh, and we lost Nita. I don't know if it's
We
the
lost Nita.
thunderstorms or if she hit the wrong button. I'm going to assume that it is the thunderstorms. Doris says it's great without the voiceover. I agree. Now what's next? Because we have to let you get going pretty soon because you do have your live stream. You have that whole accountability thing where you have to you're putting in your hour.
Well, I am.
It's an hour of exercise, basically.
I am going to have a live stream that's going to be lengthy. It's going to be at least 3 hours because I'm just going to draw most of the time until I get onto Pops' show tonight on CromCon tonight because I'm not really going to be doing anything else. And quite frankly, I'm not really in the mood to color anything today. I just wanted to get that out of the way. And by the time I finish with this page, it's going to be, I think, I will have 13 pages fully penciled for chapter 3 before I even finish the colors on chapter 2. I think I could slow down a little bit with the output of the pages because I do have to color them and I do have to finish everything. But it's a nice little jump that I have, especially, when I get set for the next Kickstarter for chapter 3. And it gives me a little more time to refine the story. So I'm really happy about that. And also it allows me to meet other people who decide to show up on my channel. And it keeps me in the spotlight as much as I possibly can. I just got to be a little bit more persistent with the social media, outsourcing because it's a job in and of itself.
Yeah, it is.
It is.
Kind of going back to the Incantessi here.
Yes.
You said chapter 4, so it's a finite story.
No, it's not. It depends. Well, it depends on what happens. I will be honest. If I do geometrically or mathematically as well as I did with the first Kickstarter, but with the amount that I start, like if I essentially double or more the amount that I get on this Kickstarter, or I come close to it, I know I have something. So I'm looking to build on that. And if I build on that and I do more, I'm most likely going to continue this for yet another 4-chapter series.
Okay. Well, because that's what I was going to ask was interesting that it would be kind of sort of monetarily based, but, and I understand that. And I understand that because now you're building up, people who are really looking forward to the story. So what I was leading up to was, you're getting ready to launch chapter 2, but you've got pages finished for chapter 3, already looking at chapter 4 for this whole story arc.
Yeah.
What do you see in the future? Is it all Incantessi? Do you have other IPs that you want to develop? I mean, what's kind of going on in the mind of Rich Perrotta?
Well, I'm going to further develop the IP of Incantessi. I'm going to introduce new characters because some of the story is going to involve the new characters. Some of the other story is not, for the next one anyway. I mean, the new characters that I'm introducing are in the epilogue and the prologue. So, you're going to get to know them just a little bit as well. And the new story is going to be focused on most of the characters that are here now and all the new ones that I'm coming up with.
Mm-hmm.
And they're all going to involve each other one way or another in the next story arc. I mean, that's what I have in my head at this point. I don't have it committed to paper or anything because I still have to write out the bloody script for issue 4. I'm refining that as well as refining the script for issue 3 and just making sure that I have no typographical errors for issue 2. But I'm taking care of things that I know I have control over instead of trying to prepare for something that I don't have control over. Because since I already have an established plot for issue 3, and I know what I'm going to put in there, and I know what it entails, I know that I can draw an X amount of pages before I get to a gray area where I may need to elaborate a little bit more or elaborate less in the story. Because again, all I have for issue 3 is the plot, not a script. I have a plot. But but as you've seen, there are definite elements that I am absolutely going to keep in there. You know, very, very important ones, especially towards the end of that particular chapter. So I'm doing a bunch of pages of those, but I'm not going to immediately do pages that are very, very crucial to the story. I'm not going to introduce a lot of stuff that's going to be very important or very crucial. You know, I'm just giving tidbits and just shapes and sizes of of the stuff that's going to be conveyed within the story. You know, and what better way to do it than to do it live, where I can get an audience that's going to be more aware of my stuff, as well as, you know, it hits both ways. That I'm making sure that I'm getting production done just for that, but I only spend an hour on that at most, and then everything else is for what needs to be done for chapter 2. Once everything is done for chapter 2, I jump immediately to chapter 3 and finish all that up, because I'll still continue the pace of what I'm doing. I'm hoping that by the time the Kickstarter campaign ends, I should have at least 20 pages fully penciled. I will shoot for 25, but if I get 20, that's still pretty good, because that's like a third of the book done before the first issue is, before this campaign is finished. You know, and again, it's all me, so it's like, okay, this is how I have to do it for a while, and
Right.
yeah.
But so now, okay, you're doing it all. You are writing it. You are penciling,
Translating it.
ink, color, lettering,
Yep.
all of
That
that
too.
stuff.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Now, but when it comes to the writing process,
Mhm.
what is that like for you? Do you write it out in prose first? Do you see it like a panel, and you're seeing the dialogue as you go? I mean, what is that like for you? Because I have writer brain. I say I don't do the art thing. Nada usually yells at me because she's like, "You do art," and I'm just like, not like that. But I don't think in that way. You know, I do believe that there is an artist brain and that there is a writer brain. We're using different parts. What is that process like for you? Is it prose first? Is it kind of like panel by panel as you're drawing it out and visualizing it in your head?
Well, it's I think it's prose first, but I get a general gist of the story on what it's going to be. I think of whatever whenever I take a story and I create something along those lines. It's like I take chaos and I turn it into order, or as best order as I can ascertain it's going. What I do is I think of the story. Um, I wonder where it's going to go, and it goes to a certain point. And if it does, then I try and visualize it in my head on how it's going to look. It's almost it really just goes from a zygote, you know, to a fully grown embryo in a short amount of time. I have the basis of the story. Like what I do, I mean, for my own sake, I take index cards. It sounds so silly, but I take index cards and I put them on a table and I write down what ideas I have for that particular issue or what. There you go, exactly. And then I place them on the table, and then I figure out, okay, where's this going to go? Will this fit here? Will this make sense here? And then as soon as that's done, as soon as I get a very, very rough idea of what the story is going to be, I type it all up just to make sure that I have it saved. And then I start thinking about what it's going to look like visually. And I proceed to do some thumbnails here and there of panels. And if it makes sense, I don't know how I do it, but I take what's with the panels and what's with the script and what's with the plot, and I put it into a far more uniform plot. And how I do it is I go like I go page 1. I write down the plot for page 1, and then I'll write down the plot for pages 2 and 3, because we go from even number to a non-number page every time we turn the page. You know, that's just the way it is. And story breaks usually happen on odd page numbers. usually, because you're at the conclusion of the page, you're thinking you're at the conclusion of an act or a scene or whatnot. So I'll do them in 2-page increments, or if I think one needs a little bit more tooth, I'll do them in 4-page increments. And if there's one where it's like a big battle scene where it takes a long time, it's like either 6 to 8-page increments. So it's that's how I usually do it. And the visual helps the writing tremendously when it comes to that.
Mm-hmm.
But then once the visual helps the writing to a point where we get a cohesive plot, that's when the writing takes over, and that's when I go in with the setting, the panel, what the dialogue, and then after I finish that, as I'm drawing the pages, if I see something with the dialogue that I can maybe elaborate on or put in one of my insanely clever jokes and innuendos in it without anybody noticing, because I'm brilliant, that happens, so it's like I do that, and whatever it is, it just turns into that. But the core of the story stays the same, and we still have, the side stories that go with it. I drop hints as to where something might have come from about 5 or 6 pages back, or 5 or 6 chapters back. I do it in a way where it does make sense, and at least as far as I'm told, and that's just how I do it. It's a very haphazard way, but again, like I said earlier, I take chaos and I turn it into order somehow.
If it works for you, right? I mean, that's the thing. Everybody functions a little bit differently. We all have our little ways of doing things, whether it's to make it through the day or to make it through a story or a panel.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because about 3 or 4 of the pages, and I'm being honest here, 3 or 4 of the pages for chapter 3, they were supposed to be in chapter 2. But I realized, the look of there's a double-page spread that I had for chapter 2 that was going to be the end of the story. And I'm like, okay, this is great. Yeah, blah, blah, blah. And it was going to be the first reveal of the uniform that Cassandra creates when she's fully the Incantessi. And it's more of an action pose or something. And I didn't really like it so much. I loved it for like the beginning of the story, but then I liked it more for the beginning of the story for chapter 3 than I did for the ending of chapter 2. So I redrew the last page for chapter 2,
Mm-hmm.
and I showed you that one also, and it looks a hell of a lot better because it just shows her in her full regalia and in her full potential magnificence that she can be, without anything else being distracting or anything else competing with her in the scene. And then, because that's where the chapter ends, and then chapter 3 begins where she is about to go after the other girl. So it's like, sometimes, even if I think the story is complete, it's not complete, or it can be changed. It can be changed for the better. Mm-hmm. And that's how I work. And that's not the best way to work, admittedly. It's not, because there's a lot of chaos. Again, there's a lot of chaos in it. And sometimes my brain does not work that way very well. Mm-hmm. And if I was writing a novel or something, my editor would hate me. Either my editor would hate me, or I would hate my editor for changing everything around so damn much, So it's like, there's that. But the way that the way that I do things for myself, it works for me. Mm-hmm. And for the time being, that's the only thing I really need to focus on at this point.
Well, now, you're a very passionate guy when it comes to your art, with your work, with your cooking even. I need to know, all right, because I love connecting with the books, okay? That's what keeps me coming back. That's what makes me read the last chapter of a book, because I don't want it to end, that kind of thing. When you're writing, do you feel those emotions? Do you get the anger? Do you get the sadness? Do you feel like weeping sometimes? What, as far as this emotional roller coaster, what can we look forward to in chapter 2?
We can look forward to an unexpected part of Cassandra that we didn't think was there. Mm-hmm. And it'll just take, it will only just take one question that she asks. And we're going to see her in a little bit of a different light.
Don't
Just
say
one.
any more. Don't
I'm not
say
going to say
any
a
more.
word. I will not say a word, but it's going to be one question that she is going to ask, and you're going to look at her like, what the fuck did she just say? Like, did she just ask that question? Really?
Mm-hmm.
And it's a very insensitive question that she's going to ask. And it will surprise her. It will surprise her that she asked a question like that.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we're going to see. This is the beginning. Even though it said the ascension of another for the byline, it's also a descent. It's also a descent of what we can, or how low we can go, or how indifferent we are.
Mm-hmm.
How our human nature and how our instincts and how our own deep personas shape us. Regardless of how noble a lot of us are, there are just going to be times when we just aren't. And that's just human nature. It has nothing to do with whether we're good or evil. It just is. That's really all it is
Nice.
to it. Well, thinking in structures of pure good and pure evil is impossible.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's no such thing as anything that's absolute. There's no absolute perfection. There's no absolute, chaos. There's nothing like that. Even chaos has a form of order one way or the other.
Mm-hmm.
So, but that's how I approach things. I approach the unpredictability of the human soul.
Okay. Very cool.
That's
And
what I want to do.
don't say any more than that, because you want people to tune in.
I'm not.
And of course, we want to know also, is book or chapter 1, is that going to be available through this Kickstarter as well, so people have that catch up tier?
Yes, absolutely. In case anybody decides they want chapter 2, I have a tier where I have a reward thingy where it's like I have chapter 1 and chapter 2 both in hardcover, and chapter 1 and chapter 2 in softcover, and all that other love and jazz. So yeah, I'm definitely gonna have that. Absolutely.
And we've got Hex Allen tuning in as well. He's saying,
Hey, Hex.
"Hey, Richness, what's going on?"
Hey, Hex, how are you?
We are at the end of our hour, Rich. That went by
Yes,
really
we are.
fast, and I know that you've got a few minutes before you live stream for your art.
Yeah, about 20 minutes. Yeah.
Yeah,
20 minutes
tune into the Richness on YouTube. Also, check them out on Facebook. We have links to both, I believe, on our show notes. So if you're tuning in from the
Yay.
YouTube channel, make sure you head over to RAGIN AVC and hit the subscribe button. But we are also simulcasting to Indie Vault, Comics and More New Jersey, as well as Geek Insider. Wherever it is you're watching from, hit the subscribe button, share it out with your friends, because we do have some interesting interviews. Rich, I know that we're sharing out your links, but where can people find you?
You can find me on Facebook. My live streams are always focused on the YouTube channel that I have. You can find me on Twitter also. My link is my Twitter handle, quote unquote, is @Greystoke20. Because now that I live in Britain, I'm like, okay, I'll just use something English or some shit. I don't know. But there's that. I mean, you can find me on my Facebook. Just look under Rich PEROTTA, and if you look on the big banner, it has something related to like Incantessi one way or the other in the background. That's me.
Mm-hmm.
So there you go.
We appreciate you for being here.
Thank
6
you.
p.m. this evening, he is going to be on CromCon with the official launch of the Incantessi Chapter 2. Make sure you head over to Kickstarter and get the Notify Me on Launch button and share that out with your friends too. We appreciate you, Rich. Final words before we get out of here.
Cheeseburger.
That note, you guys, thank you for tuning in. This is RAGIN ABC. Hey, Rich.
Yes.
Since Nita isn't here, can you do me a favor?
What?
Say, throw my dudes.
Throw my dudes.
And speaking of the dudes, there they are, drawn, colored by the very own Rich Perrotta here, the dudes with Cassandra. Love it. All right, you guys, make sure that you head over to the Kickstarter, the Incantessi. Look for Rich Perrotta. Follow him everywhere. Don't peek in his windows, or maybe he would like that. Don't really know. On that note, you guys, have a great day.
Bye.